time of day to you, everyone. When I was a kid, just starting grade school, one summer I visited Germany. My godparents were there. They were house watching for a family who were out of the country for the summer. So there was a lot of place to play there, and it was a whole big adventure there. Now the wall had just fallen there, and the walls were physically mostly still there, the Berlin Wall, but they'd punched holes here, and here, so there were roads and smaller and bigger roads going through there. But between the two parts of the wall, the minefield, much of it was still there. There were huge warnings, do not ever try to step past that. So the reminder was there, but anyone could cross. And by the wall, near the crossing places, tons of people had set up little shops, just a little bit of a table there. They were selling pieces of the Berlin Wall. Here's one of those pieces. I don't remember. It cost like a couple of Deutschmarks there, just coins anyway. I liked the colors. That's why I, of course, wanted it as a kid. You see, the western part of the wall was painted in graffiti all over it. So nice colors. I didn't understand much of the meaning then. Of course, I'm getting it a little bit better now. And I'm reminded here, see, I've studied a little bit on how Germany was united, East and West. And of course, when the wall fell and East Germany became a defunct state, of course, that day, the people could suddenly move freely, think freely, express freely, watch American movies, all that. That freedom opened to them. It was wondrous, of course, but it was not without challenges. You see, every factory, every piece of industry in East Germany was like decades out of date. What they manufactured they had nothing that they could sell in the free market economy to the West. Nothing was good there. All the people who had been trained to work in these factories, in this industry, their knowledge was decades out of date. They had no purpose. And that happened so quickly. People just realized that everything they knew and had done, just like, okay, this has to be redone. And we know the process took decades. There are still things that need to be done. But of course, it was done. It was a wonderful success, but it was a humongous challenge in time and money. It took a long time to bring the East to the state where they are now. Like, there is one Germany, and the people there, again, have jobs. They have wonderful factories. They have wonderful skills there. And we've gone there, but it took a lot. Now, let's think about what might be another country who is pretty close to a defunct state, where finances don't work, where the industry is ruined. And, okay, obviously I'm talking about Russia here. So I'm thinking, now, what if Putin was deposed as a dictator in the next few days? Now, not very likely, mind you, somewhat possible. What about if, after he was gone, someone with a little bit more common sense came instead? Okay, that's even less likely, as is the odds that there will be some level of democracy, some level of the people having a bit of freedom, having their country back. But assuming that happens, it's going to be, how long is it going to be actually before the country's in a state that they could work again, they could operate again, where they would be like a part of the world? Because right now, everything's closed and nobody really wants to cross that border with finances, with people, anything. And 10 years maybe? Maybe take a whole new generation of putting kids to school where instead of learning propaganda, they'll learn some other things like, oh, I don't know, mathematics, chemistry, physics, history, languages, and getting them trained. Or to the point where, as a young man, your best option of surviving is not being captured as a prisoner of war in Ukraine, which seems to be like the best way to keep your head in the same place. It's going to take a humongous amount of time because, see, Russia, they don't have anything that the world really needs in even the short term. What are their big industries? Oil. Well, we don't really want to do that business, and we're quickly, now faster than ever, moving away from oil. It's just going to be a thing of the past. What's their second biggest thing? Gas, natural gas. Same answer. Coal, same answer. There's also some other industries there, like raw materials, wood, stuff that's mined. But that's what they know. Their space industry isn't as great as it used to be either. So they really have very, very little that can work. They're pretty much in the same place as East Germany was when they were united. When this horror stops and they start realizing, okay, here we are again in the free world. What are we going to do? They're going to be standing on top of nothing there. And I can't stop but wonder about that. Can't stop being reminded of this little slab of concrete here. But you see, when Germany united, the East had all the skills and all the money and mostly a very friendly attitude from the West to help them get up. When Russia wakes up from this nightmare, who will they have?